Hi guys, welcome to a weekend reading vlog. This is going to be partly for the Contemporary-A-Thon. It's currently Thursday the 26th of September. I have been away until Wednesday and I wanted to participate in the Contemporary-A-Thon, but I couldn't film well or read really while I was away, and yesterday I was too tired. So I started reading yesterday, but I'm starting the vlog today and we shall see how it goes. This is my first time ever vlogging, so it may not be great, but I'm trying my best. I think what I'm going to do is just push Contemporary-A-Thon back, so it started on Wednesday for me and finishes on Wednesday, so I still have the full week of reading so I can see how much I can actually get done. But yes, I have already started reading. I started yesterday and I already finished one book today. I finished the graphic novel Mooncakes by Suzanne Walker and Wendy Zhu, and I gave it 4 stars. It was actually adorable. It's about a relationship between a witch and a werewolf, and the werewolf identifies as non-binary, so uses the they pronouns. Nova, she is the witch. She has a hearing aid, which is something I've never seen in a book before, which was actually fascinating to read about. I received an advanced reader's copy off of NetGalley, and so the colour wasn't fully included in just like the very last part, but from what it was done, it was actually stunning. I think that it's going to be such a popular book when it's finally released. The colour just made me feel so cozy and it reminded me of autumn so much, so I definitely think it's going to be a good like Halloween read. Then the other book I'm currently in the middle of is Her Body and Other Parties. Oh, there's a bit of glare. This is a short story collection, and this could work for a lot of prompts. I don't know quite which one yet I'm going to use it for. Probably plants on the cover. I don't know, is that meant to be a ribbon or is it meant to be a vine? I thought it was a vine, but now I think it might be a ribbon. But if not, it works for like dark contemporary. It works for lots of the different prompts. I am currently on page 180. I was really enjoying this, but I think the strongest stories were at the beginning and they're just gone a bit downhill. It's about women and it explores different roles that women play in society, and there's a lot of post-apocalyptic and dystopian style stories in it, so it is very fascinating, but I'm kind of feeling like it's putting me in a reading slump, so I'm just trying to push through so that I can move on to the next book, because I feel like I've been reading this for so long. I didn't start this yesterday. I started it like maybe a week or 2 ago, but I read about maybe, I don't know, maybe 80 or 100 pages yesterday and today, so yeah, I'm hoping to finish it. I've not got much left. Other plans for the immediate future. I am currently reading The People in the Trees by Hanya Yanagihara. This is a book I have to read for my class, which starts on Wednesday. So yeah, you can already see I've got loads of tabs. This is my first time trying out this new tabbing system. I've tabbed stuff before, but I've got a little guide on this one, so we shall see how that one goes. It's very slow, but I'm really enjoying it. I don't know quite how to describe it. From what I gather so far, there is a doctor who goes to this island and he discovers like this kind of abnormality, which means people are living a lot longer on this island than regular humans. So like some of them are living 100 years past life expectancy. And so it's told by his friend in the future, and after he's been accused of sexually assaulting the children that he adopted from this island. He adopted about 40 of the children from this island, and it's kind of dealing with the repercussions of his actions. That's what I got from the prologue. I think that the rest of the book, though, is from the Doctor's point of view. So his name's Norton. I think it's from his point of view, telling how everything came to happen. And I think it's going to be a case of unreliable narrator. So I'm really enjoying that. This one, I guess, could also be used for plants on the cover. This is probably the one I will use, although I think it might take me a bit of time to get through, so we shall see. Other books that I am considering starting soon is The Astonishing Colour of After by Emily Exarpan. This doesn't have the dust jacket because it's from the library. I know it's magical realism, and the main character's mother dies and is reincarnated as a bird, is what I think I know. And I think it's set in Taiwan, but that could be completely wrong. This can work for many prompts. It's beloved by so many booktubers. I'm specifically thinking of books with Chloe, but it's also diverse. And so I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's definitely a bigger one. Let's see how many pages it's got. It's got almost 500 pages, but it is quite big text, so I'm hoping that I get swept away into it. And then I also have Watchers Rise by Renee Watson and Ellen Hagen. I found this in a thrift shop. It is actually an ARC, but it's already been released by now. This has yellow on the cover, and it's also a 2019 release. Honestly, I don't know that much about it either, but I just know that Books with Lala absolutely loved it, and also Chelsea Dolling Reads, the host of this readathon, loved it. I think it's a feminist novel. I think it's like a school, and they set up this club to like introduce more feminism into their school. But that's all I really know. So that's my reading plans for the next few days. I'm really hoping to finish Her Body and Other Parties today because it's taken me so long, but I'll keep you updated. I also realised that I forgot to say, I know that Mooncakes technically isn't a contemporary, but I'm counting it anyway, and I'm using it for the challenge of read a contemporary with an illustrated cover. That may change, but that's what I'm currently using it for. I just needed a graphic novel. That's my only excuse. And it is set in like well, I mean, the issues dealt with are like contemporary issues. It just happens to be magical as well. That may be a rubbish excuse, but that's what I'm going with. So, yes. So I'm back with a reading update. It is currently 5 o'clock still on Thursday, and I have officially finished another book. Annoyingly, I don't really think it will work for any of the challenges, but it is a contemporary. It was my audiobook, which was 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson. I only had about a couple hours left of it, so I just listened to that today. I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. There was nothing wrong with it, but it was nothing to write home about. I finished that one because I tried to read more of Her Body and Other Parties, and I read about 10 more pages and discovered this is definitely what is putting me in a reading slump. So I'm going to continue, but I only have a story and a half left, so I'm going to finish it, but it's just taking me a while. I also picked up The Astonishing Colour of After. I'm not very far in. I'm currently on page 24, but I'm loving it. It is beautifully written. I love how it just gets straight into the action. There's no backstory. We just the first line just was amazing, and it just goes straight in. My mother is a bird, and then goes on to explain in the first chapter how her mother was found dead. Very hard-hitting. And I love the imagery that is used throughout. It uses so much colour imagery in pretty much every sentence, and it just helps me imagine it all so much more clearer, and makes you pay more attention to the settings, which I think is why it's taking me it's like a bit of a slower paced read. I'm loving it, but I can't read it super quickly. But yeah, I'm gonna carry on reading. Oh, I also picked up a new audiobook, which was I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. Wow, I'm only about maybe not even an hour in yet. It's a 9-hour-ish audiobook, and wow, like, it's taken me back to my fandom years. It just encapsulates being in a fandom so perfectly. The writing style was great. This is the first book of Alice Oseman's that I've read that's actually a novel. I've read Heartstopper Volume 1, and I've heard great things about her books, particularly Radio Silence, but this plot speaks more to me, so I wanted to start with this one. Also, my library had it, so I'm going to use the audiobook for it. Also, I don't normally like audiobooks that much, but the narrators for this, there's 2 narrators because it's a dual POV, they are fantastic. I just love how British it is. I love that in all of, well, from what I've read of Alice Oseman so far, and the audiobook is capturing the Britishness perfectly. So yes, very enjoying that. Going to take a bit of a break now from reading, and I'm going to watch some booktube. It is currently Saturday the 28th of September at about 9:30 in the morning. I'm sorry I didn't update yesterday. I had so much uni work I just needed to catch up on. I did do a lot of reading though, but yeah, just didn't film anything. So I'm gonna update you on what I read yesterday, and then I'll tell you my plans for today. So I finally finished Her Body and Other Parties, and I was so disappointed. I gave it 2 stars. It fits the challenge for read a dark or hard-hitting contemporary. It's basically a collection of short stories about the struggles women go through. So it deals a lot with violence against women, both physical and verbal and emotional. It deals with LGBT themes, which were very interesting to read about. The only story that I really loved was the first one, which was called The Husband's Stitch. That one was really interesting, and to be honest, it made reading this worthwhile because I did enjoy that one so much. And the last story was really good too. It was called Difficult at Parties, but besides that, I DNF'd one of the stories because of the subject matter. It's not something I wanted to read about. And then 2 of the other stories I gave 1 star to, and I didn't give any 5 stars. So yeah, overall not my favourite, but I'm glad I read it. And I could see that some people would really enjoy this. I just think I really enjoyed her writing style actually. It was interesting to read, but because the subject matter was so similar in each of the stories, like I understand in short story collections that they're meant to be similar so that there's like a linking theme, but because they were so similar, I just felt like I was reading the same story over and over and over again, which is why after the first story it just went downhill so badly. There was one which it was so long and I really did not enjoy it whatsoever. It was called Especially Heinous. I think for that one it's kind of a prerequisite that you have seen Law & Order SUV, because I think it was meant to be like a subversion of some of the characters and some of the plot points that happen in that, but it really did not work for me, that story. That was when I was definitely considering DNFing the entire book. So yes. Then I got through a substantial amount of my audiobook, which is I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman, which I'm using for the prompt Reader Diverse Contemporary. I didn't realise that Jimmy was transgender, which is something I've not really read that much about in books, so that's really great. There's also Panic Attack Rep, and there's also LGBT relationships going on, and then there's also racial diversity, so very diverse. I'm about 60% of the way through. I'm surprised that I got that far through it, to be honest, because normally audiobooks take me forever to get through, but this one is probably the best audiobook I've ever listened to. It's because the book is told in dual POV, there's two narrators, and it makes the experience so much more enjoyable for me. I think the Panic Attack Rep, may I just add, is incredible. I think it's probably the best I've ever read about. I think it could be extremely triggering for some people, so just keep that in mind if you're thinking of picking it up. Basically, I Was Born for This is about fandom culture. So one of our main characters is called Angel, and she is like this massive fan of this band called The Ark, and our other point of view is from Jimmy, who is one of the band members from The Ark, and it's about fan culture basically. So the entire plot is leading up to Angel going to this meet and greet and finally meeting The Ark, and she feels like this will fulfill her in life. She's just finished her A-levels at school and doesn't really know what she wants to do. And then from Jimmy's point of view, they're just about to sign a new contract which would increase their time involved in the band and their commitments, and it's about whether this is something they want to do or not. It discusses how his anxiety kind of restricts his enjoyment of the band and how fame can change a band. One of the main characters, Rowan, who is part of The Ark, he seems to have a growing hatred towards the fans due to a lack of privacy, which I think is really important to read. I definitely think it's heavily inspired by One Direction, because there's the fandom really ship two of the main band members, and I think that's obviously based on Louis and Harry Styles from One Direction. Where I'm at now in the book, the main characters are finally met, and I thought they would have met a lot earlier than they have, and I thought it would have been more of an interaction, but I'm loving how it was going. I really like that the main point of the story has been separate from each other, and now they're interacting, because it kind of lets you see both points of view before they interact, which is so good. I can't wait to read the rest of it. I literally had to force myself to stop yesterday so I could get some uni work done, but I definitely think I'll be finishing it, if not today, tomorrow. I also read some more of The People in the Trees. I'm currently on part 2. I'm on page 45. It's interesting. It definitely gives me Frankenstein vibes. Literally every other sentence I tab and say, this is literally Frankenstein. It is interesting. It has footnotes at the bottom, which I think do aid, because it helps to prove the unreliable narrator kind of aspect. Kind of hoping today I can get to the next part, which is page 71. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it takes me a while to get through, particularly because I'm annotating it for my class. So yeah, and then also I have not made any more progress yet on The Astonishing Colour After, but I really want to read some of this today. I'm really enjoying it so far, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I don't know how much reading I'm actually going to get done today because I'm going out with my friend, but I will try and update you later, and yeah, bye. So it's currently Monday the 30th of September and I think I'm going to end the vlog here. I was originally going to make it until Wednesday, but I've decided to stop because I'm really in the mood for fantasy, and the readathon technically ended yesterday and I was only extending it because I wanted to complete all the challenges. I have technically completed all the challenges, but just I wanted to read all 7 books. I've read 5 full books, but yeah, I was really sick yesterday, so that's why I didn't update yesterday, but I did manage to read 3 things, so I'm gonna talk about that quickly. So the first thing I managed to read was a reread for me, and that was Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman, which I gave 5 stars yet again. It is probably one of my favourite things I've read this entire year. It's just so cute. For those who don't know, Heartstopper is about Nick and Charlie, and Charlie, I always get the names mixed up, I'm pretty sure it's Charlie, is an openly gay boy. He's about 14 and he befriends Nick, who is the year above him at school, and it's about their friendship and about Nick developing feelings for Charlie and trying to understand what that means, because he's always identified himself as straight. Their relationship is literally the cutest thing ever. It makes me so happy while reading it. It deals with a lot of important issues, and I read Heartstopper Volume 1 for Read a Contemporary with plants on the cover because it has leaves. And then the reason I reread that one was because I wanted to read Heartstopper Volume 2, which is also by Alice Oseman, and I gave this one 5 stars. I think I may love this one even more than the first volume. Obviously I can't say what it's about, but things develop on from the first volume, and I really like, there's a PE teacher in it and she is literally so cool. She makes comments to the boys who are being homophobic. She tells them how there are not just gay and straight, there's multiple different sexualities, which I think was so important. There's also in the second volume an inclusion of a trans character. So yeah, there's so much discussed in these graphic novels. I just think they're really worth reading. And then yeah, yesterday was just an Alice Oseman filled day, because then I also finished my audiobook, which was I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman, and I gave this 4.5 stars. She's just great at discussing topical issues. So in this one there is again LGBT things discussed, and a lot to do with mental health and fandom culture, and I actually loved it so much. I think I definitely preferred Angel's point of view as opposed to Jimmy's, but I think that may just have been because I could relate to Angel's point of view more. Obviously she is the fangirl, so I've been in that position where I've never been in the position of a famous musician. So yeah, I like how all of the characters were important, not just like stereotypes. Every side character contributed so much to the story and they were so fleshed out, which was so cool to see, because most of the times when there's multiple characters it's not that. I also don't know how many people know this, but it's not really a romance, which I definitely thought it was going to be. I thought going into this story that it was going to be a romance between Jimmy and Angel, and that is not it whatsoever. There's romance elements in it, like some of the side characters have romances, but between Angel and Jimmy, nothing like that whatsoever. So yeah, change your expectations if that's what you're thinking, because that's what I was thinking going in. And that one was for Read a Diverse Contemporary, something that's outside of your experiences. I forgot to say also Heartstopper Volume 2 was for Read a 2019 release. If I keep looking over here it's because my notes are down here. I did also read some more of The People in the Trees, which has yellow on the cover, also has plants on the cover, but I did not get very far because it's more of a slow read and I need to take notes on it for class. So yeah, I also started When Dimple Met Rishi. I got about 10% through that. I'm reading it on my Kindle. I also started Watch Us Rise, but I was not in the mood for that. Within the first chapter you learn that it's that one of the main characters' fathers has cancer, and I just wasn't in the mood for reading something that was going to make me sad, so I put that one down, even though the writing was really good so far. I will pick it up again sometime in the future, but as I said, I definitely was more in the mood for fantasy. So I have finished all the challenges. I'm just going to go through them now. So for Reader 2019 release, I read Heartstopper Volume 2, read a contemporary with yellow on the cover. I mean, mooncakes, I mean, it's not technically contemporary, but whatever. Read a diverse contemporary, I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. Read a contemporary with an illustrated cover. Pretty much every book I read had an illustrated cover, but I put Mooncakes for that one. Read a dark, hard-hitting contemporary, put Her Body and Other Parties. For Read a Contemporary with plants on the cover, Heartstopper Volume 1. And read a contemporary that is beloved by a member of the book community. I've got Her Body and Other Parties, which is loved by Books with Lala. So yes, sorry this vlog probably isn't the most entertaining. I didn't have very many updates. I have been quite sick this weekend, and I hope to improve on that for future reading vlogs. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe and leave comments down below about what you read for Contemporary-A-Thon, and I'll see you in my next video.